everyone. Every person out there has their own plans for retirement, like what they would do in their free time, because they've already gone past the hurdle of making money and being able to live a cozy life. But the thing is, some people let their insane ideas get the best of them, to the point that they dedicate all their time to it. And this lady here is a good example, because she has a pastime of building an underground cave and tunnel system right underneath her house. And it's not like a tiny bunker that would be a cute novelty, it really looks like it's meant for nefarious plans. But the weird thing is that, in the lady's TikToks, she really sounds heartfelt and is purely doing it because she has a passion for it. Unfortunately, just because you're ambitious doesn't mean you're impervious to being caved under, which I really feel will happen at any point in this video. So if you enjoy seeing videos where everything is very close to going wrong and collapsing, you'll enjoy this.
The US government shut down this TikToker after this video.
In August of 22, I cut an opening off the side of the sub-basement and started to carve...
I really don't trust her from the way she said 22. 2022?
Fabricated an elevator to lift material. 1,000 pounds at a time. As the entrance tunnel stretched longer and deeper, I bought an electric yard cart and converted it into a mine cart.
That's like really cool until you realize that she probably doesn't have a permit and is likely putting her own life and other people in her neighborhood's life at risk. Like, come on, if you are yearning for the mines this
hard... I love how the
hard,
music for that TikTok was like really nice, calming violin music, but it looked like the most decrepit tunnel a person could make.
I used hundreds of concrete blocks and yards.
Like she still has the nice uniform, like something a school teacher would wear. I like that.
As it got deeper underground, I ran into a lot of groundwater and a spring which made work harder and required constant pumping. Eventually, I set up a sump basin and a pump which is keeping the system dry.
Right. Now, I'm not no miner, right? I have no idea how much equipment like that would cost, but you have to be pretty rich to go out of your way and have this like hobby of yours to make a tunnel, while still being able to pay for equipment that you use to make this goddamn tunnel. So I feel like this is just a woman that has so much money, she's so bored of her mind, she wants to make a tunnel. Or that's like some instinctual desire.
Confused. Where's the upside here? Because I'm left with so many questions. Why is she doing this in a residential neighborhood in Northern Virginia? I guess it's because she's living here, but like...
Is Virginia? Oh, that explains so much.
If she's so fascinated with mining, why isn't she working a job that allows her to do all this stuff legally? Or why isn't she on an off-the-grid property where she can legally do all this without bothering anyone? And then my final
but she isn't like... Is she still like in a powerful neighborhood? Oh, that's awful, yeah.
About any of this, if she didn't film it.
How do you not just struck a pipe out of nowhere? Like, how do you know exactly where to dig and avoid them?
I'm kind of happy she did, though, because it's a cool tunnel.
Set up a blower and air duct for ventilation.
I'd say it's more terrifying than awesome.
The main chamber is 22 feet below ground, and I set up rebar lattice.
Like, this is where you kidnap like a bunch of Mexican kids and keep them at.
With a trailer pump. One of the forms failed, and the concrete bulge needed to be...
Okay, that looks like somewhat minor, but I feel like this small mistake would have led to like the whole thing collapsing on her and killing her. Like, sure, you have to be pretty experienced to make sure this is safe. And I feel like there's a pretty big factor of it going horrible, but she doesn't care.
A lot of work left to do, but I am having a blast and enjoying sharing this project with you.
So we're gonna get into how the government shut her down in a bit, but she must have been way too bored. Like, she's probably seen everything on Netflix in the US and other streaming services. So I guess the solution for her could be to check out Netflix.
In her defense, there is nothing good on Netflix, so I'll probably do the same.
So this is Kala, also known as Engineer Everything on TikTok. As of recording this video, she has a little bit over 500,000 followers on TikTok that she's gained, as you saw, from playing Minecraft.
Anything you do will get you 500,000 followers on TikTok, even if something like mining.
2022, when she announced the beginning of her massive tunnel project.
I am about to embark on a new and complex project. I'm planning to construct a storm shelter off the side of my basement. It's going to take a very long time, a lot of engineering, and a lot of planning and work to make it happen. And I will be posting updates.
Well,
right. Well, I'm gonna say it right now because I feel like it's obvious, and I don't want to be offensive, but she does seem like the huge this stems from like a huge autistic obsession of wanting to make a huge tunnel in your house. She did say it was part of like a storm shelter, which on one hand I can understand, because maybe it might stem from like paranoia of being scared like no matter how well defended you are, a big enough storm will come one day to just destroy your house, so she wants to be as safe as possible. But even then, I feel like someone who's that scared of that happening would pay for professionals to make it for her. But the fact that she went out of her way to make it during her free time, that there has to be some passion to make you walk down there like deep into the ground, like 10 feet under, and keep mining every single day. We're also disregarding like the huge rock that could just fall into your head and kill you at any moment. So she has to be pretty brave.
Look, she actually goes into detail on why she wanted to do all this.
I built an addition off the back side of my house a few years ago, and I excavated alongside the existing house.
That noise is a ghost of hell haunting her in the mines.
After the house was built, I always dreamed of building a tunnel underneath the old part of the house.
Right. While we're at it, why not add an eel pit as well? And for those of you guys who don't know, there's a guy who went extremely viral on TikTok for essentially having an eel pit in his basement. Why? I don't know. I guess
that sounds terrifying.
The most interesting kinds of people. But this is definitely a fascinating use of time that can have some pretty catastrophic consequences. Because the last time someone did something similar to this in that area, that ended up being the last thing that person did.
I want to go back and see what that says. Maryland millionaire faces decades in prison after underground tunnel death. Oh my god. Wait, hold on. Wait, they died and got arrested? Oh, I'm such an idiot. No, someone else died. Duh. God. How do you arrest someone who's already dead?
In this case, it was actually very different than Kala's case, because in this case, the homeowner himself was not building the tunnel. The homeowner apparently contracted a 21-year-old to do it because he was going to invest in this 21-year-old startup. And then the 21-year-old passed an electrical fire, from what I could gather from it. The more I looked into that story, the deeper the rabbit hole got. So we'll just kind of leave it there and continue.
No, please tell me for the next half an hour what happened.
I am using an angle grinder with a masonry blade. It is underpowered for the job, but I don't want to buy or rent a tool specifically for this.
Okay, that's really terrifying. The fact like she didn't buy the best equipment possible means that she probably cut some corners. But if there's one area of labor that you can't really cut corners around, it's probably, what do you call it, tunnel building? Where any small mistake can lead to a huge, collapse and
kill you. It is an example of using brute force and patience to get a job done. As you will soon discover, that is my specialty.
I clearly believe her, but I hope that she at least has like a mask and some proper ventilation set up.
I forgot. All the dust and gas in the air. That probably is the second factor that could kill her.
Quality is rapidly going down. Additionally, the dust is spreading all throughout the house, and although I hate it, I better get used to it, because from now on, my house and everything in it is going to be a dusty industrial disaster zone.
She seems like one of those characters in a movie that lives with the grandma, and the grandma just like bound to a wheelchair. So the poor lady's like forced to stay in the house upstairs while it's being filled up with dust and has to breathe it in. I feel like that's gonna be a fact in this story.
Why would you want a tunnel that bad?
That looks kind of fun, I'm not gonna lie. See, like, right here I could put like my little JBL speaker and put on the podcast. Put on the Joe Rogan podcast. I would be
lying if I said I wasn't impressed, because this is absolutely wild. I'm still stuck on the why, though. But at least she's stacking skills.
One of the most interesting aspects of building a tunnel system under my suburban home is skills I had to
There's a second person recording this house. Oh. Well, if you're gonna get collapsed by a huge boulder, you might as well kill someone else with you.
Is, of course, concrete. I used blocks, mortar, and many cubic yards of poured or pumped concrete. Tied rebar in different configurations and learned new techniques for placing concrete. Before this project, I had very little experience with electrical and had to learn a lot of new stuff. In fact, I used to consider it magic, which it basically kind of is.
Dude, this looks miserable.
I guess I have a new question now.
This is the kind of stuff that the cartel make slaves do, so they have like a drug house to keep all the money.
And then coming home and then just starting a brand new mining shift right below your house.
A mechanical system was needed to ventilate the mine shaft and scrub dust and fumes. Some pump dewatering and other utilities required a lot of plumbing. I got to do a lot of fabrication to build forms, repair equipment, and make custom stuff. One of the reasons for this project is to take on challenges and learn new things. I am indebted to the community here for many useful ideas and feedback.
I feel like if all of this was like
I would never take the idea of someone on TikTok from Mineshaft.
This series is beyond fascinating to see how she continuously runs into problems but just keeps on solving them. Like the cable management issue, which can prevent fires. As we know from that other case that we briefly skimmed over, a fire is what ended that. So at least she's being proactive here.
Previously, I had a minecart accident. The reason is that there are loose extension cords everywhere, cluttering up the workspace. Tangled masses of cords are a fire hazard, trip hazard, and shock hazard, and a major inconvenience. Things are gonna change. They're gonna change. I have to run some Bromex.
Yeah, I don't want to be mean, but she does have like scary eyes. Just saying.
On the other side, it needs to run down the sealed wall into the sub-basement. But I have one of these.
But also, while she does fix
I just want to say, with something like this, I don't feel like someone fixed the issue. I feel like they just prolong it until like it comes back around and starts an actual fire.
all her fixes also look incredibly sketchy.
This time, I'm going to try going through the bulkhead in the bathroom. I did not want to do this, but what choice do I have? Let's see inside.
What choice do I have? The voices in my head tell me, make that tunnel. I should have said that. That's mean.
And we'll feed the cable through this wall right inside the electrical closet. This is working much, much better. Feeding some 6-gauge as well. There, now I have 3 branch circuits that I need to staple up and run through my tunnel conduit. That was supposed to be a lot easier than it was.
Because this is really, really cool, but it also just looks like a disaster waiting to happen. But either way, this might be the greatest side quest of all time. Are you tired of your corporate job? Well, have you tried LARPing as a cave miner on TikTok in your spare time? Apparently, it can turn into a career. It kind of seems like it has for Kala here because her TikTok is massive now. But it does seem like things...
It would have been nice to see like Nike or Adidas sponsorships along the walls of the tunnel.
About this.
Hello.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning.
I don't know if you remember me. I'm Jack Smith.
Yes.
I'm a Bayport building official. This is Jimmy Jones with the zoning department and Brian with inspections.
What can I do for you?
We have some complaints. Basically, there's some construction going on. And we were just here, basically, to find out if there is and see what needs to be done.
What do you say? The reason. The race.
Basically, they said it's excavation. That you're pulling stuff out of the basement.
Yeah, a little bit.
Can we go down and take a look?
Sure.
No, I have bodies heading down there.
Stop work order and are requiring an immediate evaluation by a professional engineer. Fortunately,
Like even she knows how dire this situation is when she has music playing in the
my
background.
house, and it shouldn't be too hard to get the permits and approval. So we'll be working on that.
Okay,
It is within every right of an American to build a giant 100 feet deep tunnel in their own home.
or a fire like in the other case. I guess power to her. I don't see a reason in shutting her down unless she's like really bothering the neighbors with noise or something like that. But I'm clearly no engineer, so I have no idea if there's a chance that someone else's house can be at risk here. But this is what the local news channel just ran.
Her house did seem a bit secluded, so I don't know. Yeah, but how do you know there aren't pipes that you just hit and burst?
To correct any violations and ensure the property is safe and in compliance with code. Tuesday night, we stopped by her home. She told me she can't comment on what's happening. She did, though, give us permission to share her videos, but asked us not to disclose exactly where she lives. Some have posted to social media that it's dangerous, not only for her, but her neighbors.
It's definitely a first.
David lives across from her home. He says she and some other people moved into the home a couple of years ago.
Kind of gets concerning how throughout the day or the weekday that goes by, there's a lot of noise being made, but nothing that would really truly bother us to call the authorities in any way.
I would a chill guy. I would be way too much of a pussy to tell people to stop digging tunnels under my own home. I mean, surely, of course, she stayed in her own area, but I'd be scared that they dig under mine and my entire house would collapse.
Man, getting home from work to relax, and then he has to continuously live with the sounds of his neighbor mining. That's such an unusual problem. This story is definitely first of a kind for me, and I just love how the internet surfaces the people like this. If she's not risking anyone's life, power to her, but what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below.
Her own life, maybe?
Next one. Peace.
I feel like this is one of the situations where the person involved should like sign a contract with the police or the government, whatever. Where if she dies, it's her own fault, like purely on her own hands. To be fair, that house looks like it was designed to be like kind of like a creepy place where secrets hidden underneath. Where to get to it, you have to like pull a book on a shelf and then it revolves around and you can finally go deep into the cave. Now, my biggest fear is like what she would do after she got to like the desired depth. Like surely after 10 feet she'd be like, yeah, there could be some more work done, and she goes like 20 feet and 30 feet and then finally to like the center of the earth, which is possible and scary. I just wish there was another part of the story where like her childhood desire of making a tunnel stemmed from like the community she grew up in, where there was like a huge group of like kind of like a secret group of people that love mining on their own home, and that kind of like instilled this pipe dream of hers to start doing it her own. And then like it turns out like they somehow connected the tunnel between each home from like her house is connected to like in a bum neighborhood all the way on the other side of America. Like that would be a nice like confusing part of the story that would make it more entertaining. I like whenever there's a story online, there's like other random events or news that it kind of like ties to. Like, I can't believe it took me this long to remember, but this reminds me of like that story about like people digging tunnels under like a synagogue where they had like mattresses and stuff, and they had like hideouts for whenever people would like go out and come back in to keep on working on it. Maybe it's one of those things where like you can't understand the passion someone has to make a tunnel until you have like that ambition in you and spend hours of your life working on it and increase the chance of you like dying by getting your head crushed by a rock or suffocating. Maybe when I'm an old man, I probably will be like, the only way I want to go out in this life is by getting my head crushed by a rock while making a tunnel. That's like a decent story for my great grandchildren to hear about how I died. Like that'd be decent, you know.